Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being the most informed person in the room. Today, we're tackling something huge, something really personal that's shaking up the workplace. How AI is just completely transforming human resources. Yeah, the big question we want to get into in this deep dive, the one keeping people up at night, is AI is reading your CV now, but is it actually going to choose you? We're moving beyond just talking about it, the hype, and really looking at how talent acquisition works now in 2025. The tools, the screening, the good, the bad, and what this means for recruiters and candidates alike.
And it's so timely because AI in HR, it's really gone from, let's say, hype to habit. This isn't some future thing. It's core infrastructure today. We're seeing real results. Companies are talking about getting hires 30, even 50% faster. Huge savings, too. It's not a nice to have anymore. It's critical.
Okay, right. So let's unpack that. Why the huge shift right now? I guess it starts with the old way, right? Traditional screening just hits a wall. Think about the sheer number of applications. A single popular job listing. Easily 500, maybe 1,000 resumes, maybe more.
Exactly. And that volume, it leads straight to fatigue. And we know the statistic, the average hiring manager, a real person, spends maybe, 7 seconds looking at a resume?
7 seconds. Wow. That's barely enough time to read a name and the last job title. It just screams potential for error, for bias. People get overwhelmed.
Totally. Humans are great at complex stuff, but terrible at sifting through hundreds of repetitive documents. So AI steps in, and there are really 3 big reasons why it's taking over now. First, the technology is just mature enough, natural language processing, machine learning, even generative AI. These tools are finally accurate and scalable for big companies. They actually work reliably.
But it's not just about the tech being better, is it? The economy itself is demanding this change?
Absolutely. That's the second driver, workforce volatility. Skills change incredibly fast now. Think about coding languages, right? Their usefulness fades quickly. So companies need AI to map out actual competencies, potential, not just look at dusty-old degrees or credentials. AI can see connections, predict future success in ways humans just struggle with at scale. And number 3, it's the rise of agentic AI. These aren't just tools that suggest things to humans. They actually do things. They can post jobs, find candidates, send out personalized messages, even schedule the interviews. They're like proactive digital recruiters handling chunks of the workload.
That idea of AI doing things, acting autonomously, that's key. So let's walk through the candidate journey now. You hit submit on your application. What happens next inside that system, the ATS?
Right, the applicant tracking system, the ATS. That's the backbone. It collects everything, sorts it, but the AI tools sit on top of that ATS. They turn it from just a storage box into an active strategic engine.
Okay, we looked at some examples, like maybe a system using GenFuse AI. Can you walk us through that? How does it actually process an application from start to finish?
Sure, so it starts the moment the ATS gets your document. It uses something like OCR, optical character recognition, to basically read everything, fonts, tables, the works. It turns your carefully designed resume,
The one you spent hours making look perfect.
exactly, it turns that into clean, structured data points. Job titles, dates, skills listed, education, everything.
So your beautiful PDF becomes a spreadsheet, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Then the smart part kicks in, a large language model, an LLM. This is the brain. It reads the job description and your digitized resume data at the same time. And it calculates a relevant score. It's judging how well your experience matches what the company actually needs.
And based on that score, the system then takes action autonomously.
That's right. The score drives the next step. If it's a low score, the system might draft a polite, personalized rejection email, maybe mentioning missing keywords or skills, and poof, it sends it. High score. Okay, now it adds you to a shortlist, maybe flags you for the hiring manager, or even triggers an action to schedule an initial call right in their calendar.
Wow, so a process that used to take a human recruiter days now happens in minutes.
Potentially, yes. CV screening is fundamentally changing. It's becoming much less of a manual human task.
Okay, let's zoom right in on those crucial milliseconds when the machine is actually reading your resume. What's technically going on? How does it decide if you're a fit or not?
There are sort of 3 core steps happening inside the ATS with the AI layer. First is parsing. We touched on this. It's the NLP converting your resume text into that structured data. And this is where formatting really, really matters. You use a fancy table, maybe put your contact info in the header or footer. The parser might just choke on it.
You can't read it properly?
Right. It might jumble up your whole experience section into one big, unusable text block. Or miss key info. And if the AI can't see the data clearly, you're essentially invisible.
That's huge for anyone applying. Keep it simple then.
Definitely keep it clean. Second step, job matching. This is way beyond just counting keywords like older systems did. Modern AI understands context. It looks for synonyms, skill clusters. So if the job asks for data visualization expertise, the AI knows that your listed skill Tableau or Power BI fits that requirement. It gets the relationships between skills.
Smart. And the third step, that's the ranking.
That's scoring and ranking, yes. This is where it assigns that number, that score, based on a pretty complex weighting system. Think about systems like LeoForce they mentioned, using over 300 different parameters, pulling from like 7 different data dimensions, and it's not just checking boxes.
300 parameters.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's looking at much more than just, did they have this exact job title before?
Exactly. It's trying to predict success. It looks at related skills, maybe inferred cognitive traits, how your past achievements line up with what the company needs going forward. It's predictive.
Okay, so you passed that initial machine screening.
Right.
What about interviews? Is the AI listening in there too?
Oh, yes. AI is moving deeper into the assessment phase. First up, you've got video interviews. Platforms like HireVue, Interviewer.ai, they often use one-way video. You record your answers to set questions. The AI analyzes, well, everything. Not just what you say, but how you say it. Clarity, confidence, fluency, maybe even tone. It's trying to gauge soft skills.
That sounds a bit daunting, but I guess it captures things a paper resume just can't show.
That's the idea. Then second, you have conversational AI, basically chatbots. Think of Paradox's Olivia, huge and high-volume hiring like retail or hospitality. These bots talk to candidates 24/7. They ask screening questions, clear up details, schedule interviews right there. It actually improves the candidate experience because you get an immediate response. You're not just waiting in silence.
No more application black hole.
Yeah.
And the third type of assessment, it goes beyond just chatting.
It does. That's AI assessments. Often these are gamified tests. Companies like Unilever, Deloitte, they use these. They're designed to measure specific things, cognitive abilities, maybe emotional traits like grit or a growth mindset, even abstract reasoning, things you definitely won't find on a standard resume. It gives another layer of data about potential.
Really interesting insights for planning who you need. Okay, quick pause here. If you're finding this deep dive useful and you want more insights like this coming your way, maybe take just a second now to like this content and hit subscribe. It really helps us keep bringing you this analysis. All right, let's pivot to reliability. And the big one, ethics. AI promises speed, efficiency, and the numbers seem to back it up. HBR says companies using AI well are 36% more likely to make successful hires. But can we trust the scores? Is it fair?
That's the million-dollar question, and it brings us right to bias and ethics. This is the potential dark side. The fundamental issue is that AI learns from historical data. So if your past hiring data reflects human biases, say, you historically hired fewer women for leadership roles, the AI can actually learn that pattern and, worse, amplify it.
Right. That's the infamous Amazon example, isn't it? Where the AI basically taught itself to downgrade resumes that mentioned women's colleges or clubs because the training data was mostly male engineers.
Precisely that. It learned the wrong lesson from biased data. So mitigation is absolutely critical, especially now with regulations tightening up. You've got laws like the one in New York City demanding bias audits for these tools. The EU's AI Act labels recruiting AI as high risk, which means they'll require serious transparency.
So how do companies actually fight this bias? How do they make their AI fair, or at least auditable?
2 main strategies are emerging. First, explainable AI or XAI. This means the system can't be a complete black box. Recruiters need dashboards or reports showing why a candidate got a certain score. What factors, which of those 300 parameters were most important? That allows for human oversight. Second is blind screening. This involves automatically removing personally identifiable information, PII, things like name, gender indicators, maybe the university name, graduation year.
Forcing the AI to focus only on the skills and experience presented.
Exactly. Stripping away the factors where unconscious bias often creeps in.
Okay, let's make this concrete. Can you give us some real-world examples of companies using this effectively?
Sure. For high-volume hiring, Unilever is a classic case. They get something like 250,000 applications a year for their graduate program. Just massive. By using AI-powered games and video interviews early on, they slashed their hiring time from like 4-6 months down to just 2 months. Huge efficiency win.
Wow. Okay, what about for more senior roles, strategic or executive hiring?
Siemens is a good example there. They used AI scoring, predictive analytics, to really zero in on candidates whose profiles suggested future leadership potential. They reported a 40% reduction in the time it took to fill those key executive roles, and importantly, a 30% improvement in the quality of those hires later on.
And it goes beyond just filling current jobs, right? Into planning.
Yes,
And
absolutely. Look at workforce planning. Hilton Hotels uses predictive AI to forecast their seasonal staffing needs way in advance. Hospitality is super variable. This lets them build talent pipelines proactively, meaning they cut down on expensive last-minute emergency hires by over 30%. It shifts HR from being reactive to truly strategic.
that's efficiency across the board. Really impressive.
Right.
Okay, let's switch gears to the job seeker listening right now. If AI is this new gatekeeper, what do you need to do? What are the concrete steps to make sure your application actually gets seen by a human?
Right, this is critical. You have to think of your resume less as a story for a person and more as structured data for a machine. First rule, and it's the most important, tailor everything. You absolutely must customize your CV for each specific job description. Focus on keyword optimization. Use the exact words and phrases you see in the job posting. The AI is literally scoring you against those terms.
So if they say customer relationship management, you write customer relationship management, not helping clients. Got it.
Exactly, use their language. Second, formatting is king. Seriously. Stick to simple, clean formats, basic Microsoft Word doc or a plain text PDF. Avoid complex layouts, graphics, tables, putting vital info in headers or footers. Like we said, these things confuse the ATS parser. Your best qualification might get lost if the machine can't read it cleanly.
So, function over form. Readability for the machine beats looking fancy for a human who might never see it.
Precisely. Third, focus on quantifiable results. AI gives much higher scores to resumes that show impact with numbers. Don't just list your duties. Instead of manage social media, write increased follower engagement by 40%, leading to 15% more qualified leads. Show the result.
Makes sense? Prove your value with data. And what about prepping for those AI interviews?
Yes, don't brush them off. Treat AI video interviews seriously. Practice your answers, make them concise and clear. Check your lighting, look directly at the camera lens, not at your own picture. Remember, the AI is analyzing things like perceived confidence and clarity. Body language, tone, it all feeds into the score.
It feels a bit like an AI arms race, doesn't it? Candidates using ChatGPT to write resumes, employers using AI to spot generic AI-written applications.
That's exactly the tension. The goal is an AI-friendly resume, parsable, keyword-rich, but one that still feels authentic and tailored, not just machine-generated boilerplate.
A real challenge. Which brings us neatly to the future role of the human in HR. Where do recruiters fit in all this?
Yeah, the narrative isn't really AI replaces recruiters. It's more like AI elevates them. It shifts their role fundamentally. They move from being primarily administrative screeners to becoming true strategists.
Well, the future is definitely a hybrid human-AI collaboration.
It has to be. The AI handles the repetitive, high-volume grunt work, the initial parsing, scoring, scheduling large batches of interviews. This frees up the human recruiters to focus on the high-value, complex tasks, really digging into cultural fit, conducting those crucial final round interviews, building relationships with top talent, ensuring ethical practices and compliance, things that require empathy, nuance, judgment.
That distinction is key judgment versus automation. And it's worth remembering that stat. Only about 31% of recruiters right now say they'd fully trust AI to make the final hiring decision alone. The goal is speed, yes, and maybe more fairness if done right, but that final call, it still needs human insight, human empathy. So, wrapping up this deep dive, AI isn't going away in HR. It's essential now for speed and handling volume. But things like transparency, explainability, and keeping humans in the loop, those are absolutely non-negotiable for doing this ethically.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the changing world of AI and recruitment. We really appreciate you listening.
And maybe one final thought for you to consider as you go. Now that AI can potentially predict future performance, not just verify past skills, how will your company or even your whole industry start measuring talent and potential differently? What does success look like now?
Definitely something to think about. We'll see you on the next deep dive.